So some treasures arrived in the mailbox today. All the materials to line the Gibson brake band. Check out this cool, old school, new old stock original box. I remember Wagner was a big automotive supplier back in the day, and this is really neat. I screwed up. I didn't pay close enough attention to the rivet sizes. These may be a little too big, but it doesn't matter because enough of the, whoops, throwing them all over. Enough of the correct size rivets arrived with the brake relining kit tool. This is really neat. This is by the Allgaier, if I pronounce that right, Machine Company, Cleveland, Ohio. Original box, original instructions, original brake rivet anvil tool. This is the drill / reamer, and I believe that's what I'll use on the lining material. This is the actual rivet set itself. It goes in like that, and then you strike it with a hammer, as the illustration implies. This was the removal punch, and as you can see, the tip is gone off of it. And, you know, that's all right. I still got this at a good price. And a regular pin punch works just fine, because that's what I removed the old rivets with when I drilled the heads off. And oh, by the way, I made up another band for my Gibson, as you can see right there. This is the one that goes on Larry's tractor. And then finally, the gold-plated, see? Gold flakes, $20 a foot. Brake lining has also arrived. And all kidding aside, this is really good quality stuff. I mean, yeah. I mean, this stuff wears like iron. So we are all going to embark on a learning curve here, and I hope it's short, because at $20 a foot, I don't want to make a mistake. All you old school brake lining guys out there, don't laugh at me as I attempt to install lining inside this brake band. The only challenge I really see is this has got to go like that, and then hopefully I have enough room to strike with a hammer. Let me set that in the vise for a second. Hold on. Dead air time here. Sorry. I'm going to set you down just a second here. Looking at the instructions, the lining obviously goes inside the brake band, and then you have your holes drilled for your rivets, and then here's the anvil part that rests on the back side against the outer head of the rivet, and then you strike this mandrel here with a hammer. And that is going to present a challenge, although, you know, since those are brass rivets, I think certainly doable. So we're going to give it a try. I am going to contact the seller of the brake band material, and because he cuts this stuff to length before he ships it. I ordered 4 feet, and because I've got 2 brake bands to do, and it's about a little over 19 inches in circumference on the inside to line one of these brake bands. I'm going to have a little left over. That's okay, because in case I make a mistake, you know, which I don't want to. But anyway, he cuts this stuff to length, and I'm going to contact him and ask him what he uses to cut the material with, because this is really hardy stuff, and it looks like it's got brass impregnated in it. You know, that's shiny. Looks like gold, you know, gold plated, but it's got a brass wire impregnation. I'm not sure what the fabric material is. It's woven, but I got to ask him and see how he cuts it before I get too far along here. But anyway, we're getting ready to start the next phase of the Gibson tractor brake relining. I've got the brake band all welded up, and I went ahead and drilled some extra holes in the face here and then spot welded that as well, because 2.5 inches welding it all the way around here, it could still be a little loose on the inside there. So I just spot welded it up. I did tack weld the pins on too, just for extra insurance. I'm getting ready to drill these now for our rivets. So our rivet, there we are, sorry. Our rivet diameter, I don't know if you can see that, 0.188, that's 3/16 of an inch, which means we use a number 10 drill bit for clearance. It's just a couple 3/1000ths larger in diameter, just enough for clearance. So I'm going to set up and start drilling this, and then get ready to rivet brake banding on there. Boy, that drill bit's got a lot of run out in it. So I swapped out a different bit because that other bit was just had a lot of run out. You can tell by the hole, you can see how it's kind of oblong. That thing was wobbling so much as compared to the other one I drilled. That should still work fine. It may take a little more work with the rivet set to get that to anchor good, but see if I can see what I'm doing here. There we are. That fits good. Now I'm going to take this 3/8 drill bit and I'm just going to go around all the holes and deburr them inside and out. I know they make deburring tools. And I've bought a couple over the years, and the latest ones I have are from Harbor Freight. They won't cut butter, so an oversized drill bit works just fine. I contacted the seller I got the brake lining material from and asked what he used to cut this stuff, and he suggested a bimetal blade in like a saber saw, something to that effect, or maybe a bandsaw, and recommended 18 teeth per inch on the cutting blade. So I think I got something like that or something similar around here. First thing I'm going to do is measure the inside partial circumference of this new brake band to see how much material we need to cut off our brake lining material. So I'm just going to extend about 3/4 of an inch beyond the rivet holes. Take my wife's fabric tape and go around this. Well, maybe. There we are. Sorry if my hands are in the way. I think this is going to come out a little over 19 inches. I believe I measured this once before. Well, actually, no. Looks like 17 inches on the money. So that's what we're going to cut our brake lining material to. I think a hacksaw is going to work just fine. Well, this is 24 teeth per inch, so it's a little finer. Yeah, that's doing just fine. You get the idea. That is some stiff brake lining. It fought me a little bit, but I've got it inside there. And so what I plan on doing is I'm going to start from one end and work my way around. I'm just going to put one rivet in because I want to be able to move this up and down a little bit to keep it even. And then, so my plan is my drill bit's a much larger diameter, than the center guide on the bit for drilling the lining for the side of the rivet that we are going to mushroom out. So what I'm going to do, I've got this bit here. What size is that? I can't read. It's too small. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is the same diameter as the pilot end of the rivet bit here. So I will drill a pilot hole with this size bit, and then I'll come in on the back side, like so, into the pre-drilled pilot hole, and drill this in. I'll probably go in about half the thickness, maybe a little more, of the brake lining material. So, and then insert the rivet from this side, and then start with the anvil tool. I don't know if I can do all this. Let's see. This part of the bit here is going to hog out enough material so when I mushroom out the end, this end with the tool, there should be a sufficient diameter drilled in the lining where that'll have room to expand and mushroom out, and recess enough so the rivet won't come in contact with the brake drum. Anyway, and for you guys that are experienced at lining brakes, don't laugh at me. I'm a rookie at this. This is the first time I've ever done this. This is an old dog learning a new trick. So you guys are just coming along for the ride. Let's see what happens. In retrospect, what I should have done is drilled all the holes in the band to the smaller size drill first as a pilot. And then I could have come in on the backside, drilled them all to size, and then after the fact gone back with the actual rivet size drill bit and finished drilling it out. The reason why I say that is I'm going to have kind of a devil of a time centering this smaller bit into this hole drilled for the rivet size. I mean, it's doable, but it's just more work. So I'm just going to take my time here and drill one. That is some tough brake lining. All right. So now I'm going to get my my angle drill out the backside with this bit, and then finish it with this. We'll put our first rivet in. Actually, I take it back. I have done this before, almost 50 years ago. I helped my dad replace the brake clutch lining on a John Deere Lindemann crawler. And, you know, that was almost 50 years ago. So, yeah, I do have a little experience. I just don't remember doing it. Okay, well, I've got my little angle drill here. Well, it's not that little, but I'm going to see if I can do this without messing it up. And I'm going to go slow. I don't know how much of that you can see. My big hand's probably in the way. I'll try and move this around maybe a little bit. I don't know. Probably still going to be in the way, but let's give it a go. Okay, I'm going to take my time, so I'll bring you back in a second. All right, that worked pretty good. So I'm going to drill the center hole out now with the rivet size, and then we'll put a rivet in there, get the tool out, and install a rivet. We got the rivet head on the anvil, and the tool's installed. I got the brake band clamped, a portable vise. The vise is clamped to the bench. I'm probably going to have to use the side hammer method because, as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of swinging room there. Yeah. Next stop, riveting. Here goes nothing. So far, so good. All right. Okay. I heard somebody yelling at me. The tool's supposed to go in the vise. So things were wobbling around on me quite a bit. So I moved over to the anvil. Wasn't having any better luck. So, gee, I got the instructions out, and the first thing that glared at me was the tool was in a vise. All right, so it looks a little rough, but the rivet is in there. Flat on the back side. So now I'm going to go around this whole thing and install rivets. I'm not going to bore you with that because you'd just be sitting there forever watching me drill holes and hammer. So I'll bring you back. Well, I'm sure by now most of you are trying to jump through your viewing screens to give me a dope slap. Yeah, and of course I didn't discover my mistake until I was 90% done with the riveting job. The finished head side of the rivet always goes to the lining side, not the brake shoe or brake band metal side. I got all these in bass-ackwards. But that's okay. I mean, this is a Gibson tractor. It doesn't go down the highway 60 miles an hour. This will be just fine. But you install the finished head on the brake lining side and then rivet it down on the metal side. And I know this, in 1971, I did my first solo brake job on a 1953 Dodge pickup, using the old school brake spring pliers and brake adjusting spoon. So, you know, I've viewed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of brake shoes with the finished side of the factory side of the rivet head on the lining side, and the part that you mushroom down with the tool on the metal side. And it's even, and what tipped me off was, you know, I was struggling with this thing. Why am I hammering on the, you know, the anvil tool from the inside of the brake band? And I looked again at the illustration. And what threw me off was the curvature of the brake band, not realizing that the illustration is showing the lining on the outside of the brake shoe, and the tool is riveting down on the metal side of the brake shoe. Well, of course, this is the exact opposite, because it's a brake band wrapping around a brake drum, not a brake shoe that's on the inside of the brake drum. And that's what threw me off. And it took me, you know, till I was 90% done to realize, well, you doofus, you don't do it that way. You do it this way. So now, you know, I'm having total embarrassment, but hey, I'm laying everything bare. You know, it's not an adventure till something goes wrong. And I violated one of my dad's primary rules as a kid growing up. Never let a minor problem turn into a major overhaul, and I was doing this the hard way. So the last two rivets will be done correctly. Let me show you. I truly hope all of you had a good laugh at my expense, because I sure did. Oh well. That's what it's supposed to look like. Not like this. But hey, it's YouTube, and I lay everything bare. If I screw up, I'm going to show you. In this case, I screwed up, and it's funny. Oh well, this is still going to work just fine. Like I said, Gibsons don't go down the road at 60 miles an hour. And this tough lining, you know, even though I've got the rivet installed backwards and squished down, it's still going to work just fine. Although I'm really embarrassed right now. Now the next step is to finish cleaning up inside here. Install the brake drum, and then install the brake band. So, here we go. This is going to require some Harry Houdini skills. I've got to squeeze this down, kind of take it in diagonally, and work it into place. And basically the opposite of how I got it out. I've got to get the brake band in first, because if the drum is in there, there's not enough clearance to get all of this through here. So the brake band goes in first, then I'll put the brake drum on, and then we'll go from there. And as you can see, it's going to be a fun little fight. Well, that wasn't too bad. It did fight me a little bit, but trying to get all of this in there, get that adjusting lug up through the hole. I got a nut on it right away so it wouldn't slip back out. And then getting that brake actuating lever to hook on the other side of the brake band in there. I don't know if you can really see that. Now the next thing I have to do is get, I can't see. I've got to get this to line up with this pin and then drive the pin in to lock the brake actuating lever in place. Once that's all in and aligned, then I'll slide the brake drum on the end of the axle. So yeah, it's basically one of these jobs you need 3 hands and some wrestling acumen, but I mean, it's in there, and it took about 5 minutes. So yeah, we're coming along. All right, I've got a Harry Houdini this in place now. There. I got the drum started, so we'll just shove it on in and bring you back when I have that on. Well, it was a bit of a wrestling match, but it's in, and I'm going to work the brake lever here, and you can see the action, but I do have a problem. You know, I neglected to measure the slot on the inside of where everything fits in there. Sorry about the light being in the way, but my pin here is just a little too long, and you can see it's hitting on the side of the housing. So I'm going to take my grinder and just grind that off, and then that will plop into that slot in the housing, and then this should all line up really good. You can barely see the movement, but I got brakes. I'm going to snug up this adjuster a little bit. Not much, just a little bit to take up some of the slack I see in the brake band. You can see where I ground that pin. Note to self, don't make the pins longer than the width of the band, because there's just barely enough clearance in that slot in there. I did nick the housing a little bit with the grinder, but that's all right. It's not going to hurt anything. So I'm just going to tighten this up just snug enough. You can see I got a little bit of a gap there. I want to take that up. And then I've got another nut that goes on here as a lock nut. Sorry if I'm making you guys seasick shaking this thing around. But it's probably as tight as I want to go. In fact, that's probably a little too tight. Oh yeah, I got to back that off now because I can't turn it by hand. Anyway, you get the idea. So I'll play around with that adjustment a little more. I've got to adjust it again once I get it on the tractor. But hey, that's the next step. Let's get this on the tractor.